Hi, I'm Ron Timmermans, one of the many hosts with the Florida Aviation Network, and today I'm broadcasting live and in the clear from EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. You know, on my way here a couple of days ago, I flew over and stopped in several states along the way, and then after I've gotten here, I've talked with some other pilots from California and from Washington State and from Maine and from Texas and from Virginia. You know, and I suppose if we collected all of our flights together, we would find pilots had flown and stopped in every state along the way to get to AirVenture. But who I have here with us today is a young man who has stopped in every state and flown into every state in the lower 48, and he did so within a 2-month time frame and in a Piper Cub. I want you to meet Ben Templeton. Ben, good to have you with us on this broadcast.
Thank you for having me as well. My name is Ben Templeton, and I just completed a 48-state trip in TripleTree's J-3 Cub.
Very good. And so you started where, Ben?
I started from Woodruff, South Carolina at TripleTree Aerodrome and headed north. It was about a 40-day trip, and it was 7,700 miles and 140 hours of flying.
Wow, so you really built some time, Ben. So how many hours do you have total time?
My total time now, this trip and flying up to Oshkosh just put me over 500 hours.
So you're a 500-hour pilot now, and in the last 90 days, how many hours?
In the last 90 days, I've put a little over 200 hours total time.
Wow, so how's that for flying frequently and often? So 48 states in 40 days, that's just an amazing, incredible record, and so that's really quite something. So on your travels, what was one of the fun places that you stopped, or maybe 2 fun places that you remember?
There were several really cool airports that I liked. One of the fun flights was going up the Hudson River and through the corridor there. And one of my favorite airports I stopped at was 19 Whiskey Alpha. It was Keyway, Washington. It's a grass strip. That was one of my favorite airports along the way.
And that's in Washington State, I trust.
Yes, it's on the River Gorge there.
Okay, and the river flight that you mentioned going up to New York, that was right alongside of New York City, is that correct?
Yes, it was. I was about 1,000 foot going up the Hudson, and I circled the Statue of Liberty, and that was just the VFR corridor there.
Okay. So we're going to be interrupted a time or two by aircraft flying over for the air show this afternoon. So we'll take a short pause until they get by, and then we'll continue again. So that's great. So tell us about the J-3 Cub. How old is it, and how long have you been flying it?
It's a 1947 J-3 that EAA was actually bought from the EAA a couple years ago, and it's been TripleTree Aerodrome since then. And this Cub, I've been flying it. I actually sold it on my 16th birthday, and I've been flying it ever since up till now, and just flew it up here last weekend.
Well, great, and we'll have some pictures of the Cub all around, and I see that there's names printed all over the Cub. Tell us about the names.
The names are all the sponsors for the trip and everybody who supported before the trip and during the trip, and people on the tail, you can't see now, but the tail is full of signatures of everybody who signed for each state during the Cub and everybody that I met and knew along the way.
So also with me is Ben's father, Robb Templeton. And Robb, it's good to have you with us here at Oshkosh.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, good. So I know it was probably a bit traumatic for you and your spouse when you saw Ben take off. Tell us about your thoughts and feelings at the time.
Well, I knew he had the skill to do it, and he's certainly proven that. His mother was a little nervous, as could be expected. But she became his flight follower along the way, calling ahead and making sure he had a place to stay and fuel at the airport. So she did a fine job at that as well.
Very good. So he had a team back at Woodruff, South Carolina to help him, huh?
He did.
Well, that's great. And then one other very important person from Woodruff, South Carolina, that's Pat Hartness. Pat, you're the one who actually built TripleTree Aerodrome, I understand, and the inspiration behind, one of the inspirations behind Ben's flight. Is that correct?
Thank you. Yes, sir. I'm Pat Hartness, and I've had a love for doing aviation, and TripleTree has been one of the top joys of my life, putting it together.
Very good. So I've had the opportunity to interview Rob Williams from TripleTree a couple months ago, and so he told me all about you and about TripleTree, and I can't hardly wait to get there and see it myself at one of your events coming up this year. So I know that you do a lot for aerospace education for young people. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing currently.
Well, currently we use a lot of RCs to get the young people to fly, and if they have a really desire to fly, we know quickly from the RC. That's how I met Ben Templeton, and Ben is one of our stars and one of the people that we're most proud of. Ben, thank you. And That's what we're looking for, the passion, the love, and we can help expand the passion for aviation. That's what Triple Tree needs to do, and that's our mission.
Very good. So RCs are radio-controlled aircraft, and so if you find somebody that's interested and has a passion for it and is successful at it, then you'll have them graduate to flying the actual airplanes. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Everybody that solos the RC, we take up in our air cam. Once they know pitch, yaw, and roll and feel the stick in the air cam, they say, I can fly, and that's what we want to hear. And when we hear that, we know that the passion is building.
Very good. And so how many young people do you think you've introduced to aviation over the years, Pat?
Probably 15 or 20, but we're just beginning, and the pandemic has not been our friend, but we're going to be on fire to go back and expand and excite the passion for us to do our best.
Very good, I'm sure. And when's the next big event at Triple Tree where we can all come and see you?
We have one in October and we have one in September. One is RC. We're 50% RC and 50% full scale. In September, we have the RC, and then in October, we have the RC other event.
Very good. So some events coming up in Triple Tree. That's Sierra Charlie 00. If you're looking for it on ForeFlight, you should be able to find it and find your way there for one of the events. And the website is TripleTreeAerodrome. TTA.aero. So that's the website for it. So that's great. Well, we'll see you, I'm sure, Rob, there. And Pat, I know you'll be there for the next event. And Ben, I imagine you'll be there as well. Oh, by the way, Ben, tell me, along your flight, if you had it to do over again, would you do anything different to make it an even safer flight than it was for you?
No, the flight was pretty safe. We had plenty of safety gear packed along. I would do maybe shorter days to keep from staying so tired, but it all worked out and everything went well flying.
Yeah, well, that's great. And so, Ben, 18 years old now, just graduated from high school a few months ago. Actually, you left on the day of graduation, and did you skip out on graduation?
I did. I did not walk at graduation. I went and flew airplanes.
Well, that's certainly indicative of your passion. So, what happens next after you've done this flight? What's in your future in the near future?
Next for me is I get back from Oshkosh and move straight to college. I'm going to Middle Georgia State University down in Cochran, Georgia. I'll be there for 4 years, and I'd like to either fly corporate or airlines, hoping to fly for Delta one day and get some time built up.
Very good. So on to the airlines or corporate. Well, I'm sure your future is going to be just fabulous. So, well, thanks for joining us today, folks. My name is Ron Timmermans. I'm with the Florida Aviation Network, and we're broadcasting live and in the clear from EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh 2021. My guests, Ben, Robb Templeton, and Pat Hartness. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you on the next interview.